Craig, my man, he is known as the world's most disciplined man, and he's here to help us today talk all about how to solve level 10 problems in our businesses and beyond. And let us know what you need from us, Craig, but the floor is yours, man.
You want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality.
This is fantastic. I really appreciate it. And everybody, I'm super excited to be here. Kerry's such an awesome dude. And, this group is pretty darn amazing. And I love what you guys are sharing. Today, we're going to do something that is both high level, practical, and tactical. Okay. And, I love that share about, the Poppy AI and doing that. We're not going to get that granular, but we're going to think at a very high level and solve what I call level 10 problems in your life. Now, I recently wrote a book called The Dark Side of Discipline because, it's a joking reference that my clients call me the world's most disciplined man because they say, you're really productive. I write a lot of books. I have multiple email newsletters. I create content for YouTube, social media. And years ago, one guy said, you're the most productive person I know. And then because he made that leap in his mind that because you're productive, you're also disciplined. And therefore, that's where that whole little shtick came by. Like, I am no David Goggins by any means, but what I am is I'm one of the world's most systematized people. Because by natural extension, I'm actually lazy, man. I want to sleep in. I want to watch college football and eat chocolate cake all day on Saturday. But I don't because I have greater aspirations. And what I did was I put systems into place to help me become more productive. This is my family. That's my wife, Michelle. That's our baby, Jack. He is turning a year old next month. Then Sophia's down there. She's 2 years old. She just turned 2 last week. And then in my arms is Isabella, our 3-year-old. So I got 3 kids under 3. I am 50 years old with 3 kids under 3. So I'm an old dad. And this topic that I'm going to talk about today hits home with me because I am limited in time, but I am unlimited in ambition. And I would imagine that almost everybody on this call would say they're the same way. Limited in time, unlimited in ambition, whether it's around spending more time with your family and your hobbies and even hiking with your dog. I didn't put our yellow lab in this photo, but there's a lot I want to do and not a lot of time to get it done. So I'm going to teach you today a simple framework, what we call the level 10 framework for figuring out how you can get maximum done in the minimum amount of time. I have a phrase that I live by. If you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. If you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. And that is one of the big problems that I see. So today we're going to go through this 4 main things I'm going to teach you. The number 1 rule of social media. Most of you use it. Maybe some of you don't. I applaud the ones that don't. But if you do use it, there's one rule that you got to follow. Why being a wild horse, which is someone who has unlimited ambition, can hurt you and how to rein that in. One way that you might be sabotaging your business, and then the ultimate level 10 exercise to get the right stuff done. So that's what I want to share with everybody today. So first of all, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my mentors, a guy named Joe Polish. And I imagine you guys have stumbled across Joe Polish's name somewhere on the internet over the years. He is really one of the most connected guys that I know. And I was in Joe's mastermind for a couple of years back before the pandemic. And he had this great phrase: use social media, but don't let social media be used on you. So use it. Analyze those viral reels to create your own content that then draws traffic to your business. But don't let the viral reels get you hooked on scrolling social media so that all of a sudden your kid pokes you in the ribs and says, hey, can you get off your phone? That's social media being used on you. Another way that I see social media being used on us is that it takes us down rabbit holes that do not serve us. So I like to say that people's biggest problem today is that we are too reactive. We are not proactive enough living according to our values and vision that must drive every decision. We are not proactive enough on knowing our North Star and staying on that straight line to success. Instead, and this is not really our fault, it's the fault of the fact that in the last 20 years, our smartest minds of our generation have gone out to Silicon Valley and they've made it their number one ambition in life to make us addicted to our phones. That's where we sent our smartest minds in the last 20 years, to make us addicted to our phones. And, we are paying the price of it today. And so most people, their biggest problem today is that they open up their phone. They open up their phone, and in most cases, they're opening up something like Instagram, and they're opening up the Explore page, and they're dictating their life on what they're going to do next based on what they see. And I give a hard time to the ice bath. So I like to pick on ice baths. And there's this guy here, his name is like Ole Bagelson or something, and he's a student at USC in California, and he is from Iceland. So his whole shtick is he's an Iceland guy doing an ice bath. And he goes in this ice bath with these beautiful girls from USC, and you can see like they're giving ice baths a bad name. Like it's barely up to their ankles, here. And so are they really ice bathing? But he gets in there and he ducks his head underwater. And this video that I found had 110 million views. And so people go on, and remember that the feed is showing us the extremes. It's showing us the extremes in politics. It's showing us the extremes in trends. The people that are running the 100 miles, the people that are doing ice baths and stuff. And all of a sudden, it really messes with our straight line to success. Because ice baths have their benefit, but they are neither necessary nor sufficient for success. You can be successful without them, and you can do them and not be successful. So they don't pass my filter of are they necessary and sufficient for success. So that's why I pick on them, among other things. I could pick on reading a book a week. That's a good thing, but it gets in the way of the great if your goal in life is to write a book. Because I've written 4 books, and I meet these authors or so-called authors all the time. They're like, Craig, it's my dream to write a book. And I'll see them again 6 months later, and I go, how's the book going? And they'll say to me, I haven't started it yet. But they're in I read a book a week club. So they're doing something good, but it gets in the way of the great. But if we want to do great things, we have to do fewer things. If we want to do great things, we have to do fewer things. So keep that in mind, that we must not be reactive to what we see other people doing. Just because other people are doing something, and just because they're getting a lot of likes and shares and comments and social media popularity, doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing for us in this season of life. You need to make the right decision right now for your right life. So the reason why I bring this up is because I had a friend. He had it all. And this is the friend that I chronicle in my book, The Dark Side of Discipline. I call him Chuck in the book. And so Chuck was married, 3 kids, had a beautiful red Bentley, fancy red sports car. He had a beautiful home in Toronto, which is where I was living at the time. And he had a multi-million-dollar business. Now, you would look at this guy. He also had 6-pack abs and biceps. You would look at this guy and you go, that dude must be disciplined. He has it all. But he went online and he saw these challenges that other people were doing. And they were saying, well, you're not disciplined unless you do this challenge, like the 100 push-ups in 100 days. That one drives me nuts because it's so pointless. Like you can do 100 push-ups in 100 days. Great. What's wrong with doing 101 push-ups in 101 days? That's the real thing. But it's just this mindless challenge that's created. It's arbitrary and it's created by somebody else. Not by you for your goals, but it's created by somebody else for their goals. And then all of a sudden other people do it. So he did these challenges and I knew this guy very well. And I knew that he was already working too much according to his wife. And so he had 3 kids and a wife. He had a big business that was taking all of his time. And he was doing a challenge that was taking about 2 hours of his day. And I watched this from the outside and it was like a slow motion train wreck. You're like, where's this thing going to all of a sudden implode? And he finished the challenge, got the internet claps on the back, and then he did it again, and he got the internet claps on the back. And a week after he finished it the second time, his wife walked out on him with the kids, and now he sees his kids every 2 weeks. And it broke my heart because I looked up to this guy for so long because I thought he had it all. But other people convinced him that he didn't. And so I came up with this phrase that he was putting a level 10 effort into a level 1 problem. And everybody has this in their life. Everybody has this because we all have level 10 problems. You have a level 10 problem in your business, you have a level 10 problem in your personal life. Level 10 problem in your business, it's probably around some difficult conversation that you haven't had with an underperforming team member, with a business partner not pulling their weight, with somebody that you feel is doing an unfair deal with you. And it's a level 10 conversation that has to be had. But as humans, we resist those things. And we'll do anything else. We'll start a YouTube channel. We'll start a podcast. We'll start all of these other things in order to avoid those level 10 problems. And it's the same in our personal life. Oftentimes, I work with people who have been married 15 years. And when you've been married 15 years and your kids are 10 and 12, all of a sudden you and your wife have become an Uber driver for your kids. And you might see each other for 5 minutes every day, passing like ships in the night. Hey, how you doing? Good. I'm off to the other practice. Okay, I'll see you. I'm going to Wendy's to get the kids burgers. And you get no time. And so your marriage has gone from hot to warm to cool to cold. And that is a level 10 problem in life. But my goodness, how much effort are you putting into fixing that? Well, you might be running off and doing triathlons. You might be running off and going on another vacation with friends or going golfing or whatever. We're putting a level 10 effort into level 1 problems and a level 1 effort into level 10 problems. And that's what I see the problem is, and that's why we're so busy running around with our hair on fire, is because instead of attacking the level 10 problem that we need to, we are distracted by level 1, 2, and 3 problems, and we're putting our energy there, and we're saying yes to everything. But if you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. So I came up with this idea that we are all these white knuckling wild horses years ago. So I don't know if you recognize the gentleman beside me there. I'm in the light blue shirt, and there's a guy beside me named Bedros Keuilian, who's pretty famous on YouTube. He's got 1 million subscribers. He's an amazing man. And for about 10 years, he ran a business called the Fitness Business Summit, an event every year with about 500 personal trainers. And every year I'd speak at the event. And I'd go to the event and I'd look out in the audience. There's Jane, Johnny, and Jen. And they're all sitting there. And I looked out and, this year they're all about 8% body fat, but they have $8 in their bank account. They're at the Fitness Business Summit to learn about sales and marketing. And so over the 2 days, we would teach them everything we knew about sales and marketing to grow your gym. And then on the breaks, they would go and talk to the other personal trainers about how to, work out and, cut and, get even more shredded. And they would leave the event, the Fitness Business Summit, and they'd put all the sales and marketing stuff, their level 10 problem, they'd put all that information up on the shelf and give it a level 1 effort. And they would take all that fitness and nutrition information and they'd give it their level 10 effort. And sure enough, Jane, Johnny, and Jen, whatever names I said, they would come back the next year and they'd sit in the same seats and I'd say, there they are. And this year, they're 7% body fat and they got $7 in their bank account because they put a level 10 effort into a level 1 problem and a level 1 effort into a level 10 problem. And as I described this little phenomenon, you're probably starting to see in your life and in the lives of the people around you, whether it's in your relationship or whether it's your kids or whether it's people that you work with or people that you're, are clients of yours, you see where there's this misalignment between the most important thing in their life and what they're putting their effort into. And when we can actually align that we're putting the level 10 effort into the level 10 problem, it's hard, but that's where we make the big leaps in life. And that is what we call the ultimate definition of discipline. So I understand that there's a lot of hard things that you can go and do. You can go and do manual labor. You can go and do an ice bath. You can go and work out twice a day. Those are hard things. But if you do those things at the expense of avoiding a level 10 conversation in your life with your wife or your business partner or a team member that's a cancer, that's bringing other people down, then that's actually undisciplined. That you are putting your time and effort into those other things that are taking your time and effort away from the level 10 problem. So we put it very simply. Discipline is putting a level 10 effort into your level 10 problem, and that's it. Everything else is entertainment. Everything else is a perverse form of procrastination because remember, these things are good. Reading a book a week is good. But if you don't ever write the book that you've wanted to write for 20 years because you're reading a book a week, that's actually undisciplined. And so the good often gets in the way of the great. And it's my mission in life to make sure that people are aware that there's greatness that they can achieve and that we can't let the little good stuff get in the way of it. So I'm going to walk you through a little exercise that you're going to be able to apply personally and professionally. And you're going to be able to do this with your team, and your team's going to be able to do it. You'll be able to do it for every department in your company if you need to. You can do it for your sales team. You can do it for your marketing. You can do it for your operations, for your finance. You can break this down. And it's simply to list your biggest problem. What's the biggest problem with your company finances right now? What's the biggest problem with the leadership in your company? What's the biggest problem with your sales and marketing? The biggest problem, the elephant in the room. And that level 10 problem in your personal life could be your health, your relationship, your financial status. It could be vices like drinking, weed, pornography, whatever it is. Everybody's got a level 10 problem. And that level 10 problem, if you're wondering, how do you define that? It's that thing that you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, that you dream about, that have nightmares about, that you wake up in the morning and it's cloudy outside, all of a sudden your mind goes to it. It's a thing that you're thinking about at the dinner table when you should be present with your family. And that's the level 10 problem. And it's not going to go away unless we fix it. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on everything because you can have level 10 opportunities. And sometimes there's level 10 opportunities that come along in your business that must be taken advantage of right now. For example, if you have a Facebook ad funnel that is working right now and it's giving you a massive return on your ad spend, like a 10x return, 20x return, you have to go and put a level 10 effort into that because that's not going to last forever. Or you may have an opportunity in your personal brand building where all of a sudden there's some people with large followings that are referring people to your account, or you have some videos that are taking off. You have to double down. You have to pour gasoline on that fire and scaling your business. Or maybe there's JV partnerships or development. So you're in a real estate deal that needs your level 10 attention. Now remember, if we want to do great things like those things, we have to do fewer things, which means cutting the other stuff. So I want you to list your biggest problem or opportunity in your business and list your biggest problem or opportunity in your personal life. And next, I want you to do a little subjective rating. I want you to identify the level of effort that you are giving to the level 10 problem or opportunity. So let's say, for example, that you have a business partner. And the business partner was good for the last couple of years, but all of a sudden this year they got some personal problems. They're not pulling their weight. They're barely coming into the office. You're doing their share of the work, but they're getting their share of the money. The business is kind of starting to go down because they're not doing their zone of, they're not working in their zone of genius. And you're trying to, but it's not your zone of genius. You're trying to do their zone of genius. And this has been going on for months. And that's a level 10 problem. And you've kind of sort of talked about it. You said, hey, we should, maybe set up a meeting. And, you're putting like a level 5 effort into that level 10 problem. But you haven't sat down, confronted them, prepared a level, to have a level 10 discussion with them and get it all out. That's the solution we need. So be honest, that's just an example. But think about the level 10 problem in your business. And what level of effort are you truly giving it right now? In most cases, at best, you're going to find that you're putting a level 7 or level 8 effort into a level 10 problem. And if you are, great, that's awesome. But most people are not. Most people are not. It's like that marriage that I talked about before. I see this all the time because, in my world, I spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs, ambitious, with spouses who don't understand, right? They just don't understand. And they got their own problems. And this is my world too. I'm married, 3 kids, my wife and I, we try and we're working to get our time together, but we haven't left the kids at home. She doesn't want to leave she doesn't want to leave the kids at home and go overnight. So we're trying to keep our marriage super, super strong. It's amazing right now, but we know there's another level to it. But I've had some setbacks in my business in the last month, and I know she's working hard on, making sure the kids are taken care of and educated and entertained, and we have nannies, and she, they're disappointing her, so she's trying to find them, and she's stressed out by that. I'm not going to dump my business problems on her. And she wouldn't understand it. She doesn't know all the people involved. And so, I kind of hold that in. And when you do that, when you hold everything in, eventually it all comes out. So we had, difficult discussion about it last week. We put a level 10 effort into solving a level 10 friction. So we know that we all have a level 10 problem. And now we've rated it. So here's the good thing. There's a solution. There's a way out. There's a way out and to get past this. And I got a little worksheet for this. So what I want you to do for your business and your personal level 10 problem is I want you to list everything, 10, 20 bullet points, action items that would make it look like you were putting a level 10 effort into this. And here's an easy way for you to do it. Because if you feel like stuck, I'm like, man, I don't know what else to do. Imagine a friend came to you with the exact same situation that you're going through. So a friend came to you and said, oh, my business partner is not pulling their weight. It's really easy to give advice to other people. It's much harder to give advice to ourselves.
All right, my happy hustlers out there. Imagine a set of headphones that don't just play music, cancel noise, and take calls, but also optimize your brain and focus in the process. Well, that is what Neurable AI is all about. And these specific neurotech-powered headphones, which track your brain waves in real time using these EEG sensors to help you improve focus, flow, and mental recovery. See, with Neurable's AI-driven insights through their app platform, you can actually get personalized feedback on when you're in deep focus, when you're drifting off track, and when you need to take a brain break. That way you can lock in longer, work smarter, and reduce cognitive fatigue. And the best part is you get the hookup for being a part of the Happy Hustle Tribe. You can save $100 by going to neurable.com and using code HAPPY to save. I'll tell you what, they're made for high performers who are out there happy hustling a life that they love, both personally and professionally. And they fit with our brand mission, which is to avoid burnout and achieve that blissful balance. So I'm super stoked about this new tech that's out there and Neurable being a partner of ours. And I hope that you give them a go, especially if you're in the market for a new headphone. These are how you can ultimately increase your productivity and avoid burnout. If your brand doesn't look legit, people aren't going to treat it like it is. So whether you're building a biz from scratch or you're leveling up your current brand, 99 Designs by Vista is the ultimate creative platform for you to bring your vision to life. From logos design to app design to packaging to book covers, you name it, 99 Designs connects you with top freelance designers from around the world to create custom, memorable designs you love. We have personally at the Happy Hustle used them for book cover designs, logos, and now currently we're running a design contest for our swag shipping box. So that way, when you get a package from us, everything's branded and it looks super professional and on point. Now, you have two different ways that you can work with them. And basically, it's simple. You run a contest, let the global design community submit ideas, and then you pick the best one, or you work one-on-one with the designer who gets your vibe from start to finish. And because you're a part of the Happy Hustle Tribe, you get an exclusive $25 off your first design contest. All you gotta do is just go to 99designs.com/happy and then claim your discount and then watch your brand glow up, my friend. Do yourself a favor and just don't DIY your design. Let the pros at 99 Design by Vista help your brand thrive.
But imagine a friend came to you and said, yeah, my business is not going great, or, relationship's going, kind of cold. What advice would you give to them? And that's what you would list down for yourself as well. So I've got this little worksheet that, you can take a screenshot. It's very simple. I can also send a copy to Carrie after. I didn't get to him in advance. I apologize for that. But all you need to do here is first, just pen and paper. Detail the level 10 problem. Then rate your level of effort. Are you putting in a 6 out of 10, 3 out of 10? And then here's the next question. Who can help? And I'm going to show you my answers to my own in personal and professional after this to give you an idea. But the third box is critical. And most of you have probably heard of the book Who Not How by Dan Sullivan, right? It's an excellent concept. You guys are in the group here. I love the leads and needs idea that Carrie has. You really have to lean into that. Because in my world, I'm an introvert by nature, but everything that I've gotten in life has come from me asking for help to other people. And I've grown a fairly large network, even though I'm introverted by nature. because I know the power of it. And I actually have a phrase that I live by that I'm going to write in the chat here, is that everything in life is easier when you know more good people. Everything in life is easier when you know more good people. Every problem that you know somebody, or you know somebody who has the answer to this. Just last week, a friend, I don't know if you know Isabel Price Carey, but she's friends with Mike Geary, and she sells supplements. And she was using a dropship company, and they changed the formula on one of her products. And she's very rigid about her ingredients, and she was stuck. She's like, I don't know what to do. This company they've changed the formula. I can't find anybody else to do it. She came to me. I put a message on my Instagram. I said, I need to know somebody who knows all the white labeling companies in the United States for nutritional supplements. And I had 8 people give ideas and connections that she had never heard of before. And she's going to solve this problem because I know good people. And she asked me, and I went to my audience. So everything in life is easier when you know more good people. So that's why you have to go to Carrie's events. That's why you have to go and say to Carrie in the needs and leads part, like, man, you guys should have flooded that part, because you need to say, I need to know somebody who knows the best AI for hiring. Somebody's going to know it, or somebody's going to know somebody who knows them. And you have to raise your hand and ask, because it's really, you're just one person away. Because everything in my life, I'd say 90% of the money I've made because of my friends. I would say that when I was in the best shape of my life, it was because I had a great training partner. And when I was a single guy and didn't want to be a single guy anymore, what I did was I asked my most well-connected female friends for introductions. And one of them introduced me to my wife. Otherwise, I wouldn't have those 3 kids if I didn't go to my connections. So everything is easier in life when you know more good people. So in that who part, there's a who's going to be able to solve your level 10 problem faster than you figuring it out on your own. It's truly that way. And then in this next box, you'll put what a level 10 effort looks like. I'm also a big believer in the 80-20 rule. So when you put down 10 or 20 bullet points, there's going to be 2 to 4 bullet points that are going to have an outsized return on your time and energy investment. And I'll show you what that looks like for me in a second. And then finally, in our company, when we have a meeting, we always leave every meeting with who does what by when, which I stole from one of my mentors, Vern Harnish. So just making a who does what by when for this final little box here, immediate actions and deadlines. So, John talks to our accountant by Thursday, the 31st at 3 p.m. Very, very clear. Who does what by when. We have that in a whiteboard in some of our businesses just up on the wall. So you go in the room, you do the meeting, it's who, what, when. And somebody is putting that up on the wall. Everybody take a shot of that and away you go. And then you just have that accountability and follow through. Okay, so in my business, which is a classic coaching business, we get people to jump on the phone with us and join one of our programs. Our level 10 problem in the first quarter was sales call conversion. We have a great Facebook ads funnel. Now that you've seen me here, you're probably going to see my videos. Great Facebook ad funnel. We're getting calls for the right cost. Cost per lead, cost per call, everything right on the money according to industry standards. The conversion rate is not great. So our level 10 problem is sales call conversion. What level of effort? I was only putting a level 4 out of 10 effort into it because I wrote a new book and I was on all these podcasts like Carrie's early in the year promoting the heck out of my book, and I wasn't putting the effort it deserved into my sales call conversion. It was on me. So who can help? There's a guy named Joe Marcoux, who's a great sales trainer out of Winnipeg, Canada. There's a guy named Ken London, who's another great sales trainer. There's a guy named Laith Masserway who runs a company called assistantly.com, and they find amazing virtual assistant help. There's a guy named Ian Stanley, who is an amazing copywriter. He's up near Boise. He's an amazing copywriter. We've hired him to look at our funnel. There's a guy named Mike Buentempo, who's an ads guy. We hired him to look at our ads. And Jeremy Lee Minor, JLM. Jeremy Lee Minor is our sales script expert, so we need to go to him. Yeah, so Ian's amazing dude. Funny guy. Funny guy. And so then I wrote down what would a level 10 effort look like? So we need to get 2 new full-time salespeople and 1 more setter. I need to do more sales calls now for a short time to help improve the script, and I need to do more role play with my team. We need to have Tim, our copywriter, have more additional involvement in the sales team review. I need to call all leads if they no show. I need to connect with all the leads on Instagram and social media and LinkedIn and all that. We need to test more ads and a higher quality VSL and test the VSL with stronger wording and more disqualifications and hire JLM to fix our sales script. Like if I did all of those things, which I have done most of those things in the past couple of months, that would be a level 10. And we've made dramatic improvement because I did this a couple months ago. So on the 20% effort, I hire Lath. Lath actually brought in a couple of our setters. So, we got that. We hired Ian. Ian did a breakdown. We joined one of Ian's group coaching programs. We did intensive sales training. We've done that. And then the Jeremy Lee Minor script review. So doing that would give us the 80% result of getting new salespeople in, having that funnel review and improving our script. And that would lead to most of the results that we need to see in our sales conversion. So immediate actions and deadlines, we listed this out as hire a 14-day deadline. All the stuff that I had to do on that list, I could do immediately. Tim could start immediately. We could hire JLM immediately. We could test new ads immediately. And we could get a new VSL up in 21 days and test it. So what I want you to do is screenshot this and do this for your business. And again, if you have a big business, if you're like a $10 million business, you've got your sales department, it's got a major bottleneck. You've got your marketing, it's got a major bottleneck. Your operations, it has its own bottleneck. Hiring, it has its own bottleneck. And then your financials, it has its own bottleneck. So you can do this in all of your departments. And I will send this out to Carrie after this. And then I'll send the slide deck too, so that you can go through again how I answered my questions.
Yeah,
but the bottom
awesome.
line is,
thank you.
Yeah, you list your level 10 problem. You rate yourself on how hard are you really working on this. You figure out who can help you, and then you write down all the things that would look like putting a level 10 effort into it. And you can do the same for your personal life. So let me walk through my marriage one. So my wife and I will be married 4 years coming up this month. And so, we're still in honeymoon phase, even though we have 3 kids under 3. But 3 kids under 3, obviously, for anybody who's had, youngins running around, that
it's a lot.
You got to make sure they're alive, man. like it's just, we kept them alive today, thank goodness, and then it's anything else you can get sometimes is above and beyond. But we don't settle for that, right? Like you don't settle for an okay business. You want a great business. You don't settle for an okay marriage. You want a great marriage. And so our level 10 problem was creating a better marriage even in this time, right? So, I would say our marriage is a 9 out of 10, but it could be an 11 out of 10 if we put more work into it. So we were putting a level 6 out of 10 effort into it. We were doing some of the things. We were making a much more of an effort than the average person. But we know we were capable of more. So Michelle and I sat down and we did this together, which is very important. If it's something that you can do with someone, whether it's on the professional side or the personal side, do it together. So who can help? So there's a guy named Daniel in my business. He's our head coach, and he's married with 3 kids. He's a few years ahead of us in both the marriage and the kids side. So he's able to, give me advice on, hey, listen, when we were going through this phase, here's what we did to improve it. So there's that. Another one is if you are married and you appreciate marriage advice from people that are practical, is check out this Instagram page, meet_the Freemans. They have 1 million followers. They are amazing at social media, and they give good advice for busy people like you and I. They are really a wonderful Instagram page. So not all social media is kind of crappy. There's a really, really great page there, and there's lots of good advice. So I can go to them. They follow me and have for a long time, so I'm able to go to them. And then Michelle, my wife, she's my partner in all of this. So we wrote down, what does a level 10 effort look like for us? So even though we have 3 kids under 3, we're fortunate that we've made the effort. We've worked very hard to have 2 nannies from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So Michelle and I eat dinner at 4 o'clock and have a daily dinner date for 20 minutes at 4 o'clock. I know it's crazy hour, but we go to bed super early at like 7 o'clock, 7:30. And so it's 3 hours before bed. The nannies are still here. We get time to talk to one another. So that's been a big thing for us. Um, as a person who's introverted by nature, she just absolutely hates having to pull information out of me. So I voluntarily am, I'm I'm working on this daily. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I'm sending, emotional check-ins. I'm sending her my daily gratitude list, all of these things so that I increase my communication, because otherwise I just go through with all of the stuff stored in my head because that's what an introverted dude does. But it's not helpful to her. I also have this little acronym here for how I communicate with her, which is listen actively and communicate empathetically. I'm not the most naturally empathetic person in the world, so I'm working on that as well. And the active listening, shows that she has been listened to. Being on the same page is something that is highly valued by my wife. So making sure that she understands that I'm on the same page with her in decisions and around the nannies, around the kids, all that sort of stuff. And if there's anything where we need to talk about it, we make an extra time to figure out how we can get on the same page. There's a company called the Gottman Institute, and they're a marriage therapist company. And a couple of my friends have used them and have had glowing reviews of certified Gottman therapists. So they've been around the Gottman Institute for decades, and they have something called the 20-to-1 rule. So for every negative interaction, they suggest that you have 20 positive interactions with your spouse. So if your wife leaves a whole bunch of stuff in the car, I don't know, some guys have wives that leave a whole bunch of stuff in the car and it sits in the hot sun, and you have to bring that up. 20 positive interactions for that one negative interaction is what they recommend. I also do a daily post-it note, so I leave these little post-it notes around the house for her to surprise her. Cook dinner with her 5 out of 7 nights per week, even if it's just me like putting in like 5 minutes of effort. She appreciates it. And then being fully present in the AM and PM family time. So from I get up crazy early and I work from 4 a.m. till 6 a.m. Then the kids get up and she gets up. She might get up a little bit earlier to work out some days, but then from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., it's all family time. And then from 5 p.m. to whenever everybody goes to bed, it's no phones and no computers. So we're fully present then. Weekly date day, we try and get out a couple times per week now. We've upped it to, because we go to bed so early. You can't do a date night when you go to bed at 7 o'clock. So we do daily date days, coffee shops, hikes. We live in Vancouver. There's lots of beauty and nature out here. And then the one thing we haven't done on here yet, but we are going to do on our anniversary night, is an overnight stay away. So she's, we love our kids. We're the people that take the kids in business class and to restaurants. So if you don't like that, I apologize in advance. But we're those people. And so we don't like to be away from our kids. And it's hard for her to do it. I've done it a couple times. I don't enjoy it for work stuff. But anyways, we're going to do that because it's been recommended by people that have been married a long time. So you can see this is how I work through our problem. And I work through it with my wife this way together. And when you see all that stuff, when you brain dump all this stuff, first of all, you're going to feel like, man, okay, I feel a lot lighter. You're going to feel like progress is already starting to be made because there's clarity, and you can start to see the steps that will give you positive dopamine hits and momentum and motivation. And so that's what we're looking for here. And then you can go and you can build further plans. Like, we use 90-day planning tools and stuff like that for short-term goals. But just getting this stuff out and seeing it all on paper is very, very helpful, both for the personal and professional one. So then you got the 20% that gives you the 80% results and the immediate actions. Last thing before we go to the Q&A is everybody's overwhelmed. It's like, how do I find time to do this stuff? And the answer is you make a one-word shift, because you don't find time to do anything. It's not under your bed with your ab rocker that you bought from Body by Jake 20 years ago. You don't find time. You make time. If something matters, you make time for it. And in order to make time for something, you often have to say no to other things. And that's why, again, I repeatedly say, if you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. If you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. Right now, there's a real life situation. I have a client. He is a orthopedic surgeon, so he does knee replacements and stuff. And he's trying to build his business, and he's in a new area and building his business, and he's doing all this stuff. And he's right now he's hooked by TikTok, and TikTok is a scam because when you join TikTok and you do a bunch of videos, it seems like they always give you a viral reel in your first 10 videos. It's like they're hooked, it's like they're cracked because then you think every video is going to be like that going forward. And he's spending all this time on it. And he said his wife was upset with him because he's working too much. And this is a classic case of level 10 effort into level 1 problem and level 1 effort and level 10 problem. And we don't want those things to get away from you in that way. So you have to make time for what matters. So we're running out of time there, Kerry,
Yep.
you'd say?
Yeah. If you can, we'll do a quick Q&A. Thank you, Craig, so much, man. I appreciate that. I hope that was valuable for all you guys. Let's clap it up for Craig a little bit on that. And I mean, I know we're wrapping in like less than 5 minutes, basically, is when we have. I don't know if guys have a ton of questions. Maybe Craig's willing to.
I will say, like one thing is that I truly believe, and I've seen this done, is that you can have an amazing business, 8 figures, some 9 figures, highly profitable, running as well as it can with a lot of people and stuff like that, but still make time for your family and yourself. I've seen it. I've seen it. It's possible. So don't think that, you can't do both at the same time. And I'm very passionate about that. And the tools that we create are to help people achieve that.
Yeah, love it, man. That's what the Happy Hustle is all about, crushing it personally and professionally. Yeah, that's why I wanted Craig to come on, guys, because he's doing it at the highest level and he helps a lot of other people do that as well. So, yeah, Craig, where's the best place if people do want to connect with you, if they want to learn more about what you got going on service wise, or maybe want to work with you? Is there a resource?
Yeah, absolutely. So email is best, straight up email, Craig@CraigBallantyne.com. Instagram is also fine. Real Craig Ballantyne on Instagram. And the number one book that I've written out of the 4 that I recommend everybody gets, and you can get it for free at CraigBallantyne.com/free books, is The Perfect Week Formula. That will give you 5 or 10 hours back into your week so you can use them however you want just by putting those systems into place. The Perfect Week Formula. It's available on Amazon too, but you can get the digital copies at CraigBallantyne.com/free books because it frees up your time, man.
We'll email this out to everybody as well tomorrow in the recap. But I read that book and it's a great read, guys. It's the Perfect Day Formula, Perfect Week Formula. So awesome stuff there. Do you got time for just a quick question?
Yeah,
Anyone
totally,
got a super burning question that they want to ask Craig that might be relevant? Chris, I feel like you got one.
Well, I mean, it's very important, and I'm really grateful for that comment, Chris, and it's something that's on my mind. I took forever to get married, and it's very important to me, and I think the vows are very important, and so it's great to hear that it was helpful.
Yeah.
I don't actually have any questions. I just feel like I have very concrete kind of homework to do,
Good.
And like your prompts on what might be the things you're struggling with, or what are the level 10 things you're going to level 1 effort. Like, where's your mind going at dinner? What are you waking up thinking about? It's like I'm so avoidant of one of these things that it's like
it's human nature, man. We take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But when you lean into those things, man, that's when life changes.
Yeah. But just appreciate the words you shared today.
Thank you. Awesome. Anyone got a question that they want to ask Craig specifically, or we feel pretty good? All right. Well, yeah, you crushed it then, Craig. So no question.
Life is simple, man. Life is simple. And that's what I'm don't make it too hard on yourself. And that's what the worksheet simplifies it.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up with seeing Craig off with a little more love. And thank you guys all for putting in the time and effort to be here. I know you could be anywhere, and your time is your most precious commodity. I do not take that for granted whatsoever. I freaking love you all. I'm here to support you any way I can. Keep on happy hustling. God bless. And we are out. Peace and love, gentlemen.